Good morning. Happy Monday. For those of you who need a little cat caffeine on Monday morning, we're going to give it to you live and intravenously in the arm. I am super excited to do this with you on a Monday, which very few people get to see me on Monday. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but today I am bringing to you a powerhouse female, which we all need more of that in your life on a Monday morning. Today I want to introduce you to Danielle Kakora, and this might be a veteran owned business that knocks your socks off because she might potentially outpace me. And that's pretty tough to do for my members that know I'm tough to outpace. So, good morning, Danielle.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. So, for my audience that is wide and vast, I want to tell everybody all the amazing things that you do. But as I started, so Danielle is not only the president, or I'm sorry, the CEO and co-founder of a company called Ibility, but as we were talking, and really cold introduced, which is amazing that I've met so many amazing people doing this veteran founded campaign, but she's also the president of the Fisher House for Greater Cleveland. Girl, you're giving me goosebumps. Like, I love this. And then I found out that my best friend's son stays overnight at her house. So this is crazy. I love this. Like five degrees of separation. So Danielle, tell us a little bit about your company and your veteran service. I don't even want to negate that, and all the things that you do for this amazing community.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just a Northeast Ohio kid. That's basically me in a nutshell. I went to Avon Lake High School, and then I joined the Army, and I was in for 10 years. I had a great career. I was a combat medic and then a medical service corps officer. And then I worked for the VA for another 10 years at the Cleveland VA Medical Center and then at VA Central Office. And while I was working for Central Office, I realized that a lot of the government, but VA specifically, is run by contracting organizations. And if you're a service disabled veteran like me and a woman, there's a lot of incentives to do business for the government. And I saw a lot of companies that weren't doing great work and not doing what they needed to be doing to support our veterans. And I thought, if they can do it, I can do it better. And I have,
Yes.
which is so exciting. So I started my company, Ibility, about 3.5 years ago with my business partner, Ken. And we haven't looked back. We hit the ground running. Ibility is where innovation meets ability. And we originally were set out to do government acquisition differently. And we wanted to use an approach called rapid competitive prototyping, which is kind of like challenge competitions or hackathons, to kind of shake things up and do it differently. And what we learned is that was a little progressive. People weren't ready for that yet. But we've evolved into so much more since then. We've been really opportunistic, and now we do management consulting. So anything from program and project management, strategic communications, change management, training, marketing, and we're dipping our toe into some robotic process automation, some AI, some data analytics and data visualization. So anything that touches the VA system, we've kind of got our toe into, which is kind of cool. So we have about 15 active contracts, about 30 employees across the country. Most of them, though, are in Northeast Ohio, which is what I love. And we're taking the world by storm. And
I mean, wow, I would say that's definitely by storm.
Well, I'm certainly trying, and I want to do things differently, and I want to deliver really good work, but more importantly, do things that matter. And I care so deeply about veterans, military families, as you'll hear in my next hat that I wear with the Fisher House. But yeah, I just want to do things differently and do things right. And I believe wholeheartedly that we're doing that. And through that, we're making a lasting impact on the world.
So I got to tell you, this is right here for anybody who's watched just the first like 3 or 4 minutes here. This is why everybody's going, well, this is why she gets along with Kat. Because, like, I think that bumping up against that known boundary or that known barrier that everybody's so accustomed to is where change and progress starts to happen, right? Like that's why we're doing new things here. That's why we want bigger and better. And it's not until somebody comes in and says, well, why, just because we've always done it that way doesn't mean we have to continue doing it that way. And that's where we're getting to a place where we can see new things. It's in the getting comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable.
And
Yep.
and that's just an amazing thing. And the only people who benefit are those who are in the greatest need. And I just think that you are an absolute powerhouse, not to mention the fact that you're a mom and volunteering and all the things. So, we just need more of people like you
Aw,
and me in the world. So,
we definitely
great job.
do, and we're birds of a feather, that's for sure.
Yeah, amen to that. So tell us a little bit about the Fisher House.
Yeah.
You explained it so eloquently, and to me, this was an unknown benefit to veterans and veterans families. So I want to make sure that we're talking about this so people know that it's available, especially in this service area specifically. We are huge. So for those of you who are deep in our service area and that are following us, this is something that absolutely pertains to you as well. So talk to us a little bit about Fisher House and what it is from just an educational perspective.
Yeah, I'm so excited. This is like maybe month 3 of taking over as president of the Greater Cleveland Fisher House Foundation. But I've been on the board for a while, maybe 3 or 4 years. And you can think of the Fisher House, they hate when you say this, but you can think of it like the Ronald McDonald House, but
Yeah.
for veterans and military families. So there's roughly 100 Fisher homes across the world, actually. They're co-located with a military base or a VA hospital. And they're a home away from home. So if you're veteran or military service members coming to Cleveland to receive care, you may be eligible to stay. Your family may be eligible to stay at a Fisher House. So if you live within, like in Cleveland specifically, outside of 50 miles, and you're coming in for treatment, you can stay there completely rent free. We fill the refrigerator with food, the pantry. We cater meals, several throughout the week. A lot of organizations come in and they make cookies, they make meals, they do pizzas, all kinds of amazing things. We provide rides to and from the Fisher House to the hospital. So it's really comprehensive and great. We want you to come there and focus on the recovery for your loved one. Or sometimes we actually, sadly, many times we are dealing with end of life situations. So the veteran will come in for hospice care, and their family will be able to come in and stay and spend their time at the hospital with their veteran and come back and have a nice place to stay. And we have 2 homes. We're very fortunate. Most places only have 1. So we have 2 homes, and we are generally about 70 to 80% occupancy. So we're really well used. But please, if you know somebody, all you got to do is call up the Fisher House, and they'll tell you if you're eligible and coordinate for you.
Yeah, so we're going to put some information in the chat or in the comments here, which we always do. This is another great opportunity for those of you who are interested in supporting their social media, donating. You can donate volunteer hours, you can donate financially, but you can simply follow them on social media to support them, share their content, anything like that. If you are a supporter of the veteran community, this is the opportunity. They are in growth mode. So beyond supporting a veteran-owned business right now, this is an opportunity to support something that supports veterans as a whole. We have also added this to onto our website under our support page or our resources page. So if you want further information, you can go directly to our support page and find a link to the Fisher House and how to connect with them or Danielle's team. So please don't hesitate to pass on that information and support them even in a non-monetary way.
Thank you so much for the shout out. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I just, to me, when we talk about the National Cemetery and the lack of awareness, right? And one of the reasons why we're doing this is that just the awareness that the National Cemetery Service or the National Cemeteries are an option for you. That's one thing. But then when we talk about supporting our veterans who are alive, right? That's a whole separate thing. If 24% of veterans even know that using a national cemetery is an option for them, then what are the support services that they have before we get to the cemetery? That's a whole separate thing. And so we want to make sure that we're supporting all of those components. Okay, so tell me a little bit about why being a veteran-owned business is important to you.
Geez. Well, I guess it's just another amazing benefit of serving. I feel like everything I have is because I served my country, which is fantastic. But it's truly an honor to, you're given extra incentives, I guess, as a veteran-owned business to do work for the government. And that's really important because we can compete on things, you know, against our own peer group. And the government wants to invest in veteran businesses. They want to see thriving veteran entrepreneurs out there. But then they know that there's like a intrinsic empathy factor there, right? If you're a veteran and you're providing care and services through a contract to other veterans, you're more empathetic, you're more committed, you're more mission driven, which I think definitely is true for Ibility. And it's given me the opportunity to hire more veterans. So I think I have like between 60 to 70% veterans, and the rest are military spouses. So everyone that I hire is just like me, deeply committed to what we do and why we do it. And we're mission first, which is important. So I guess it's kind of creating another culture through my business of support for those that we care about.
That's fantastic. We've done a couple of interviews here, and I think it's amazing to hear you mention how often you do hire another veteran or a spouse. I mean, the statistics are amazing, and we're kind of lean towards that. We like that kind of thing. Uh, okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the Wreaths Across America component. I think a lot of what we've got going on here is very veteran forward. Obviously we're a little biased around here, but when you step onto a national cemetery and you get to see it decorated, whether it be wreaths or flags for Memorial Day, or it's recently been cleaned. Obviously, we've had a National Day of Service recently because of 9/11. What does it mean to you as a veteran when you see that type of service being done because someone is trying to serve you and kind of pay back?
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. You get chills when you go into a cemetery that's decorated. It's just, and actually, it was only recently that I had done that on Memorial Day. I was asked to speak on. I was honored to speak on Memorial Day. It was amazing, but to see all of the flags and to think. I guess visually it forces you to think about all of those folks that wore the same uniform, that put their hand up and said, I want to defend our country. That's like, it's humbling. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's just, I can't even describe it beyond that. It takes your breath away. It really does. And it means so much to the families too, because I think, you don't always get out to the cemetery to visit with your loved ones, even though they're buried there. And you think about it, and it's in the back of your mind. And I think a lot of times, the busiest times of the year are Memorial Day and over the holidays, Christmas, and all of that is when people kind of get out and see. But to see that somebody else has been there and is cleaning the gravesite, is tending to it, is honoring their service and thanking them visually and around where their final resting place. It's really just beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's even a further continuance to what our mission, no veteran buried alone, and making sure that we do get full coverage, of that cemetery, and making sure that we don't leave anybody behind, as always. What would you say to someone who's considering even just volunteering for the day, bringing their kids out?
Yeah.
And it is the mission of continuing to teach the next generation, whether maybe they're going to join the military, or they're not sure, they're learning, they're coming out with their scout troop, they're coming out with their marching band, or maybe just a family coming out. What would you say to even parents or somebody like that considering bringing their youth out to see that, maybe even for the first time?
This is actually my favorite topic. Even beyond just talking about veterans, it's about service and creating a compassionate and connected generation of youth. I do it as a parent, and I try to model that every day. My kids are every weekend they're in some sort of service project, and it's just truly important to me. It's at the core of who I am as a person. But take that aside. When you come out to a cemetery, you get a rare opportunity to describe to your kids what service means and why we still honor and sacrifice. The more that we can tell their story and we can share why that's important, the better. I think our generations are getting further and further away from the military and understanding that and being connected to service, unless they're in a family that, you know, has legacy of service, I guess, and they make sure that it doesn't go away. It's not public, you know, it's not in your face anymore. Which is interesting. So every year I also have the opportunity to go to this gala. It's for Northeast Ohio Foundation for Patriotism, which is all about, you know, pride in our country and teaching the youth and all of those things. And every year I bring one of my kids with me to that gala, and they get to hear from a Gold Star family, and they get to see the people in uniform, and they get to be connected to the stories and the why behind the uniform, why people serve and what it means to them. And I'm really proud to say that my oldest daughter wants to go to a service academy, which is just so, I mean, I'm like starting to tear up just a little thinking about it, that she's been so moved because of the opportunities that I put in front of her, and that she cares about her country. And that's really beautiful. So I would say to any parent, bring them, go. It's a wonderful experience. And it's a day that you can like share with them how amazing our country is and those that have fought so hard to keep it free.
Yeah, you know, I think it's interesting when you get the firsthand experience dealing with your kids in that scenario, right? So my dad is at Ohio Western, and we always lay his wreath individually. And I think over the last couple of years, you know, being involved in the event, my dad's wreath obviously gets laid last because everybody else's gets, you know, in the event of the day. My son came and grabbed me about halfway through the event last year and said, "Come on, Mom, we're going to go do Papa's wreath." And I'm like, "Dude, just a minute, just a minute." And he's like, "No, Mom, right now." And I think that when you get to a point where your kids are old enough to say, "Hey, Mom, you know, this is the thing, this is important," you know, like it's refreshing to realize that they finally get it and they get to come back to you and you're no longer the one dragging them forward. And I think if every parent realized that that day will come where they finally say, "You know what, you don't have to drag me to do the thing," it's pretty cool. So yeah, that's exciting. The
Absolutely.
Neopat organization gets mentioned pretty frequently throughout these. So for those of you who haven't gone and liked that page or are following them, Sergeant Clean Car Wash is a big Neopat. Becky went to the Neopat Gala also. So obviously that's a pretty strong organization. Danielle just mentioned it as well. Make sure you jump on and grab Neopat. Those Gold Star families are amazing, and obviously they've given the ultimate moment. Okay, so I want to give, we're going to talk about, Danielle brought to my attention, a lot of you watching today may not necessarily be from Northeast Ohio. So we're going to drop a couple of links here below. We are looking still for about 15,000 wreaths. So if you are looking to make a donation here in Northeast Ohio, I just want to be very clear. I'm going to give you two links in the notes below. One specifically for Ohio Western, which is where Danielle and I both are from, and that cemetery. But Wreaths Across America is a national event. So there might be a cemetery near you where you can also support. And so I'll give you two, and I'll try to be super clear. But if you have questions, don't hesitate to message me or Danielle on whichever platform you're seeing this, so that you can make sure that either your donation stays local to you or Ohio Western, whichever you'd like to support. Maybe even your VSO, if you have one, they like to make donations. A lot of them aren't sure where they're making their donation to, but I'm happy to answer any questions for anybody who has that going on. Okay, Danielle, tell us a little bit. I dropped the Greater Cleveland Fisher House website in the comments below, but tell us a little bit about how they can either follow Ibility or best support you in either your social media, or how they find you and connect with you going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Find me on LinkedIn. That's the best place.
Okay.
Although we support the VA primarily right now, we're doubling down. We're looking at markets outside of VA now. So if you or someone you know wants to learn a little bit more about what Ibility does, we're always excited for new clients, new partners, or even just to spread awareness for our services. So reach out to me on LinkedIn. or
Okay,
go to our
awesome.
website. It's Ibility, IBILITY.io.
Okay, awesome. And I will make sure everything is in the chat because
Awesome.
the way
Of
we
course you
sound
will.
versus the
Of
way we
course you
look.
will.
I cannot thank you enough. First of all, it was a pleasure meeting you, and I always love it when I connect with people that I should know anyways in life. So that was fun. But I just appreciate you. I appreciate everything you're doing in the community, and thank you for giving your time to do this today. I know you're sitting in an airport, so that makes it all that much better. But you don't have to do this, and I appreciate you taking the time.
I am humbled and honored that you would ask me to do this. And I love the mission of Wreaths Across America. And I'm so happy to support it, to endorse it. And actually, one more thing, I want to put a plug for our National Cemetery partners. The Veterans Legacy Memorial Project is really cool. So if you are interested in the service of someone in your family, a friend, you can go on there, you can check it out, you can add content to it. It's very, very cool. I was just talking to them right before this call, and I was saying how I was going to be doing this. So it was all just like full circle this morning with the National Cemetery.
Yeah, that is a really cool project. For those of you who don't know, you can scroll back on our Facebook page. There's a ton of information and the links to get directly to it, but write the stories of your loved ones so that they're memorialized. And we've had a number of speakers at the cemetery that talk about it. It's actually really cool. And our cemetery does a really great job of sharing them occasionally. So shout out
Awesome.
Danielle for the win. All right, everybody, have a great Monday. We'll see you all soon.